Hello everyone. It was a quiet afternoon in the house, and Maya was home alone, enjoying some much-needed time to herself. Her brother had taken the kids out for a while, giving her space to unwind after a busy week of work. For Maya, this rare moment of solitude was a blessing, an opportunity to relax, to reflect, and maybe even indulge in some private moments of creativity. But as she lay on her bed, taking a few moments for herself, she was blissfully unaware that her nephew Arjun had returned early from his outing with his uncle. He had forgotten his favorite toy at Maya's house, and in his haste to get it back, he ran up the stairs and headed straight toward Maya's bedroom. Unaware of his presence, Maya continued to indulge in her time alone, lost in the comfort of her thoughts. The door to her room was slightly ajar, and as Arjun pushed it open, he stumbled into the room. The sight before him immediately made him freeze. Arjun hadn't intended to intrude, but there he was, standing in the doorway, witnessing a private moment that his young mind wasn't prepared for. He quickly averted his eyes, feeling a mix of confusion and embarrassment. The situation was awkward for both of them, one caught by surprise, and the other unsure how to handle the sudden intrusion. Maya. Arjun's voice cracked slightly as he hesitated. Maya immediately jumped up, startled, her face turning bright red. She quickly tried to regain composure, but the tension in the room was palpable. Arjun. Maya's voice was soft but firm as she moved toward him. What are you doing here? Her heart raced, but she knew she had to address the situation with care. She could see the confusion in Arjun's eyes, his young face full of questions. I forgot my toy, he mumbled, barely meeting her eyes. He looked down at the ground, clearly uncomfortable with the situation. Maya sighed, feeling the weight of the moment. She didn't want to make the situation more awkward for him, but she knew they needed to talk about boundaries. Okay, Arjun, Maya said gently, but you need to understand that there are certain things that are private, and we have to respect those spaces. This isn't something for you to worry about. Let's just take a moment, and I'll explain. Arjun nodded, though his young mind was still processing everything. Maya realized this was more than just an embarrassing moment. It was a teaching opportunity. She motioned for him to sit down as she tried to find the right words. You know, when we live in a house with others, we have to be mindful of each other's privacy, Maya began. Sometimes, people need time for themselves, and it's important to respect that. It's not always easy to understand, but it's something we all learn as we get older. Arjun nodded, though the concept of privacy was still a bit foreign to him. But I didn't mean to interrupt, he said. I just needed my toy. Maya smiled, trying to lighten the mood. I know, sweetheart, she said. But even though you didn't mean to, it's important to understand when it's okay to enter someone's room or space. Sometimes people need their own time, and we need to be respectful of that. The conversation was a bit awkward at first, but Maya could see Arjun trying to process it. She explained that privacy wasn't just about hiding things but about giving each other the time and space to feel comfortable. She made sure to reassure him that there was no harm done, but it was important for both of them to learn from this moment. Do you understand? Maya asked gently. Arjun looked up at her, his face still a little red. I think so, he said quietly. But I didn't mean to make you upset. Maya's heart softened, and she reached out to ruffle his hair. You didn't, sweetie. It's just a little awkward, that's all. But it's okay. We all make mistakes, and we learn from them. She gave him a smile that helped to ease the tension in the room. Arjun smiled back, the awkwardness between them beginning to dissipate. I'll be more careful next time, he promised, his sincerity shining through. Maya nodded. Good. And if you ever feel unsure, just knock first, okay? That's a simple way to make sure everyone feels comfortable. With a newfound understanding between them, Maya handed Arjun his toy, and they both chuckled, feeling the moment pass. Thanks, Maya, he said, before turning to leave. I'll make sure to knock next time. As Arjun left the room, Maya sat back down on her bed, reflecting on how quickly things had shifted from awkward to understanding. It had been a brief moment, but in many ways, it had brought them closer. It wasn't just about respecting boundaries, it was about open communication, learning to navigate the complexities of family dynamics and building trust. Maya smiled to herself, grateful for the lesson they'd both learned in that brief, unexpected encounter. This story highlights the importance of boundaries, respect, and communication within a family. It illustrates how an uncomfortable or awkward moment can lead to a valuable lesson and a stronger bond between family members. Let me know if you'd like me to extend or adjust the story in any way. After Arjun left the room, Maya sat on her bed, her mind racing. The unexpected moment had thrown her off guard, but now that the situation had calmed down, she realized how important it was to handle it with care. She knew that Arjun was still young and probably didn't fully grasp the complexities of privacy and boundaries, but the conversation had been an important step in helping him understand those concepts as he grew older. Maya knew that being an aunt came with its own set of responsibilities. She wasn't just there to babysit or spoil him. She was there to help guide him, to set examples, and to be someone he could turn to for advice. She couldn't afford to treat these lessons lightly. The next day, Maya found herself reflecting on the conversation. It had felt a little awkward at first, but when she saw Arjun's sincere expression as they talked, she felt like they were making progress. Still, she wondered if she had said the right things, or if she should have approached the topic differently. Arjun came over the following weekend, and Maya greeted him with a warm smile. She didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable, but she also didn't want to ignore the previous conversation. She decided to gently revisit the topic, hoping to solidify what they'd discussed. "Hey Arjun," she called out as he entered the living room, his backpack slung over his shoulder. "How's everything going?" "Good," he said, dropping his bag by the door. "I got a good grade on my science test." "That's awesome." Maya beamed. "But hey, there's something I wanted to chat about for a minute. Can we talk?" Arjun looked at her with a little concern, clearly wondering if she was going to bring up the awkward moment from last week. But instead of diving straight into it, Maya took a deep breath and gave him a reassuring smile. "Last time, I know we had a bit of an awkward moment when you came into my room," she began, watching his face carefully. "And I just wanted to make sure we were both on the same page about respecting each other's privacy." Arjun shifted a little uncomfortably but nodded. "Yeah, I get it. I shouldn't have walked in without knocking. I was in a hurry and didn't think about it." Appreciating his maturity. "Exactly. It's really about making sure we're both comfortable with the space we have. It's not just about doors or rooms. It's about making sure everyone feels respect." Arjun looked thoughtful. "Yeah, I think I understand now. I'll make sure to knock before I go into anyone's room from now on." Maya smiled at his response. "That's all I ask. But it's also important to know that sometimes people just need their own time to think or relax. It doesn't mean we're upset with anyone. It just means we need a little space to recharge." Arjun nodded again, absorbing her words. He still wasn't sure how to fully wrap his mind around the idea of privacy, but he trusted Maya and felt that she was trying to help him understand, not scold him. She wasn't making him feel bad about the situation. She was just trying to teach him something important. "Thanks, Maya," Arjun said earnestly. "I'm sorry about last time." Maya reached over and gave him a gentle pat on the back. "It's okay, really. I just want to make sure you feel comfortable here, and I want to make sure we all respect each other's space. We're family, but we're also individuals with our own needs and boundaries." Arjun smiled, seeming to take her words to heart. "I'll remember that." The rest of the afternoon passed without incident, but Maya couldn't help but notice how much more relaxed the atmosphere felt. Arjun seemed to be thinking more carefully about his actions, and even Maya felt more at ease knowing they had addressed the issue openly. The conversation had been a good one, and she felt hopeful that it would help shape his behavior as he continued to grow. In the coming weeks, Maya and Arjun developed a new sense of mutual respect. Arjun began knocking before entering rooms, something that initially felt like a small but meaningful habit. Maya also made a point to respect his privacy when he was in his own room, allowing him the space he needed without prying into his personal life. The relationship between them was evolving, not just as family but as individuals who were learning to navigate boundaries together. One evening as Maya and Arjun sat on the couch watching a movie, Arjun turned to her and spoke up. You know, I've been thinking about what you said the other day. About respecting people's space. It's kind of like when I need time to play video games or when I want to hang out with my friends. Sometimes, it's just about being by yourself. Maya smiled warmly, impressed by his thoughtfulness. Exactly. It's about understanding that everyone has their own needs, and sometimes those needs involve taking time for themselves. Arjun nodded, a bit more mature than before. Yeah, I get it. I think it makes sense now. As the evening went on, Maya felt a sense of pride. She had managed to guide Arjun through a difficult and awkward situation, and now he was not only more aware of personal boundaries but also more respectful of others' need for space. She knew that these lessons were small but important steps in his journey to becoming a more thoughtful and considerate person. By the end of the night, Maya realized that even though the situation had started off as uncomfortable, it had ultimately brought them closer together. The awkwardness had faded, replaced by a better understanding of each other's needs. And for Maya, that was what family was all about. Learning from one another, growing together, and always being there to help when needed. This continuation deepens the conversation between Maya and Arjun, reinforcing the themes of privacy, respect, and understanding. It shows how awkward moments can lead to meaningful growth and a stronger connection between family members. Would you like to expand on any specific scenes or ideas? Let me know.